we finally got the next big chapter in Super. Rather than follow the anime, we take a new route and we actually get a flashback into the future instead of, whatever Black did to just attack them. So, yeah, I realize, there's a little bit of a contradiction. Flashback to the future, but still. We get to see Trunks train with KIBITO and the Supreme Kai, which is good, because honestly, after last chapter, I thought that's where we were going to end with the whole revisiting of Trunks' version of the Boo, incident, which they finished early, but at the cost of the Supreme Kai's life. Turns out it's a little bit deeper and a lot more similar than we thought. For example, when Trunks is training with the Z-Sword, which is actually quite fitting, we get to see him and Supreme Kai do the same goofing around that Supreme Kai and Gohan did that inadvertently freed old Kai from the sword. However, the main difference is that, they were keyed into where Deborah and Babidi were right before they could do that. Plus, another difference is the fact that this exact same scene happened before they even ran into Babidi, because there was no martial arts tournament to, key into the plot of Babidi's plans. So it probably took him a lot longer to get whatever key he needed, plus with the lack of humans. So that can be keyed in. But, yeah. Because of the sword not getting broken by the strongest metal in existence, old Kai was stuck in the sword until its complete destruction, which I'm assuming means old Kai is dead. Like, GG, dead. With a sword. And while we're on the topic of him in the sword, who remembers how he was sealed? That's right. We realized recently back in Battle of the Gods that it was Beerus who did that. Now that sounds like a little harmless prank, because that's what Beerus really does when he's not destroying planets on a whim. However, with last chapter's revelation that Beerus will die if all of the Supreme Kais die, because it's not just one that has to die. And remember, there have always been more than one. The Buu Saga had more than one. And while some might think they might have just glossed over that, this chapter actually goes back to that multiple times. So, even though they didn't state that's why old Kai was sealed in, I'm 100% sure that's exactly what Beerus had in mind. Because Beerus has said in the last chapter that the Kai should not be jumping head first into things if they're so weak. So chances are he did that to keep old Kai out as a fail-safe, so that no matter what happened, as long as the sword existed, Beerus existed. Genius for a cat who naps too damn much, but going back to the actual Babidi incident, we see KIBITO die first, with his demise actually mirroring his death in the original timeline. Except back then, he only had the Dragon Balls to wish him back, so honestly, that death didn't have much impact, other than the impact that blew him up. And it was a little bit different from a lot of the deaths we saw in Dragon Ball Z, so at least visually it stuck in many people's minds for 5 seconds, and then we realized, oh shit, he existed, when they wished him back. But this time he ain't coming back from that. Plus, Supreme Kai didn't just get killed, he actually pulled a Tien and used the last of his energy, and then died from that. So, Trunks went all burning attack on everyone, while Supreme Kai held Deborah and Babidi down at once. Of course, Black was watching this, so like I said, he knows the situation of all the Supreme Kais and the connection. And that itself is another connection, because in the anime, they didn't get a cue of Black being connected to someone else until they met him and felt his ki. However, This time we use a logical connection instead of rather, he feels familiar kind of connection. And we instead see that just the knowledge that there's a connection between Beerus and the Supreme Kais is basically known by a select few. And Beerus himself makes that connection. So, Zamasu, whom many people who watch the anime know of already, but we, with the manga, first meet him differently. We don't meet him Alfreding to his master. Instead, we meet the Supreme Kai apprentice with new information that he was actually the North Kai of that Universe 10. But, like I said, we get to see him fight instead. Like, not with Goku even, but with KIBITO. Now, this serves as a good point for other people because we never got to see KIBITO. Because, like I said earlier, he died. Easily. Very quickly. Even though his ass was rumored to be pretty damn powerful, he died real quick. Like, dead. Instantly. But, you know, it was good to see. Actually, we never got to see Supreme Kai fight either. We got to see him pummel the shit out of Baibu, but we never got to see any of their fighting styles. So seeing them mixing martial arts with telekinesis was a beautiful new sight. And we got to see how, you know, Zamasu not only took the upper hand from KIBITO, but hit his own bloodlust as he attempts a final strike on him. But Goasu, his teacher, stops it. So after KIBITO and the Supreme Kai leave, Goasu then tends to lecture Zamasu with the whole, look at this planet, it just recently became civilized bit. And then he gets to the point where, oh, if you want to see how they're doing in the future, here are the time rings. And for those of you who don't know of the time rings, then again, considering this is Dragon Ball Super, I doubt there are any manga onlys, really. Except for me. But even I know that they play a big role in Black's next appearance, at the very least. So, like I said before, the anime shows a different connection. We get a logical connection. So how will this play out? Because honestly, before, say, Hit vs. Goku, these two platforms were literally nearly identical, with the manga just keeping in the fights and taking out some of the fluff. Although they still kept the Mayan Trunks connection for God knows what reason. But either way, it's playing out quite differently. So, how it would play out in the manga versus how it's been recently playing out in the anime. Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more content. I recently started Attack on Titan gameplay, so if that's your fancy, check that out too. And also follow me on Twitter and Facebook to keep up to date with my releases. The links to both those and the other gameplay are in the description below. So I'll see you guys next time.